Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of living waters. He is the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk about the great heritage of the children of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites. The great heritage of the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, who are called Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Now, there are 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? They have a tribal identity and they have a national identity. The national identity is Hebrew Israelites. And we also have Hebrew brothers, okay? Hebrew Edomites and Hebrew Ishmaelites, okay? We're all Hebrew brothers, okay? All right, let's get that straight. But Jacob and Esau have a very, very close relationship because they are two separate nations, but they are still brothers. But we are separate nations. Now they separate us today into what they call Black Americans and Jews. Okay? And if you look at our history, what you'll see is we both kind of gone through some of the mirror image, similar type of things have happened to both peoples. I'm speaking of Jews and blacks. Okay? We've had similar calamities that have happened. Okay? All right? So let's get that straight. Now, once again, the national identity is Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Then we have tribal identities. Okay? Like the tribe of Yehuda. Okay? Or Simeon, or Reuben, or Naphtali, or Gad, Asher, Dan. Okay? Ephraim, Manasseh, Benjamin, so on and so forth. Okay? Let's get that straight. Okay? So, Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 17. Now listen up. This is for you celebrity types, I will call you celebrity types, okay? Because you all do a lot of talking about blackness, black heritage, etc., etc., etc. But what's happening is you're using your celebrity and you're confusing the masses of people. And don't worry, the other nations like that. That's why they pay you guys to do your documentaries, or they pay you to come out and talk at colleges, or they pay you to talk wherever, churches, anything in general, to keep putting out this message, okay, about our heritage, okay? And generally, most of you are misaligning the heritage, and you don't have enough history to really even be speaking on it, okay? Verse 17, you shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. You should not be afraid of the face of man. So you don't be afraid of people or what they're going to think or say when you're making a judgment, as I am this day, right? For the judgment is God's. It belongs to God, right? Okay? And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. So anytime we're making a judgment, if it's something that, we just cannot get resolved, then the judgment comes before God, Yah himself, the Holy One of Israel. But we do not respect persons in judgment, meaning what? We don't care about you being a celebrity, or your star power, or your riches, or your money, or your fame, or your sex appeal, or whatever you might have that you hold fast to. Okay? Now, listen carefully. We have a heritage, Black America, all right, that you read about in this book of remembrance, Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. it states that a book of remembrance would be made up for us to come back and look through and see all of our history and the history of other nations along with us, right? And see all the things and all the bad things and all the calamities that have happened to us. Not only that, there's much in this book of remembrance, okay? History, okay? You have all kinds of wisdom, Proverbs, Psalms. You have prophets who prophesy the future for us so we can know ahead of time what will take place on this earth. All right? All right. So you have wisdom books, history, you have prophecy. Okay? Naturally, you have the 5 books, or the first 5 books of what they call the Bible, that we call the Torah. The word Torah just means the instructions. So this is a historical document, but it's also instructions. Okay? Listen to what I just said. This book right here is a historical document, but it is also instructions. The same way a vehicle or a car or anything you buy out here that comes with an instruction booklet, that's what this book of remembrance is all about. Genesis to Malachi. Some people call it the Tanakh. They call it maybe in the Hebraic form, the Tanakh. Genesis to Malachi. There's no New Testament attached to it. Okay? But many in Judaism, they call it the Torah, or they think of it in that way. But the Torah is just the law. The law of the great God, Yah, who created every single person on this earth. And everything you see above your head and below ground. Okay? He alone have done all these things. Okay? Now, verse 17. So we don't respect persons in our judgment. When I make a judgment, it don't matter if you family or if you anybody in general. Okay? No matter about star appeal, like I told you earlier, no matter who you are, whatever. When we make a judgment, we make the judgment for a specific reason. Okay? So here's the judgment. All right? We have a heritage. Okay? And in our heritage, the Most High tells us in Deuteronomy chapter 4, okay? Starting at verse 14, let's read. Okay? And Yah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes, judgments, that ye might do them in the land, right, Israel, right, whither ye go over to possess it. Okay? This is Moses reiterating all of the law to Israel before they go into the land and take possession of it through the leadership of Joshua ben Nun. Okay? So what does he say before you go into the land? Listen very wisely. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude. The word similitude means image. Go look it up, okay? He says, for ye saw no manner of similitude on that day. The Yah spake unto you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire. Now this is dealing with Moses, right? Okay? When he was up in the mountain, right? Okay? With Yah, the Holy One of Israel. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image. You hear that? Lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image. The image of any figure. The likeness of male or female. Now I'm going to talk about that specifically. Okay? The Holy One of Israel says, man, do not make you an image of a male or a female for worship. Okay? Period. You do not do that. You corrupt yourself when you do that. And what do they have in most of these religions today? Well, that big old statue they got in Brazil. The picture of a male that they call Jesus or Yahshua. right? All right? You corrupting yourselves when you make that stuff. Who made it? Did God make that? No. Men made it with their own hands. Did God draw up Jesus or a picture of it? Did he command you to worship that image? No. He's telling you right here not to do that. You corrupt yourselves when you make up that. Okay? While they worship Jesus and Mary. Both, right? Okay? Males and females. You corrupt yourselves with those graven images. And they have graven images made up of so-called baby Jesus and Mary and all that. And in these religions, they venerate that stuff. Those things, they can't walk, they can't talk, they can't move, they can't do anything, they can't eat, they don't breathe, they don't smell. It's just a photo. See, these things are predicted. They're just photos. And this is way back here during the days of Moses. The Most High made this clear to the people, man. Okay? All right? You're not supposed to do that. And then the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flies in the air, the likeness of anything that creep up on the ground, okay, the likeness of any fish, right, that they use in Christianity, right, that is in the waters beneath the earth, okay. Then he said what? Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon, Sunday, right, Sunday worship, right, the moon in worship Islam, right, okay, the Most High calling all this stuff out, right. And the stars, right? Basically, you know, witchcraft, horoscopes, whatever, right? Okay? All right? Even all the hosts of heaven shouldest be driven to worship them, okay? Because you're looking at them. You think it's got powers and all that, okay? So you worship them and you serve them, okay? Which Yah your God have divided unto all the nations on the whole earth. So what the Most High is saying right there, look, man, these other nations might serve that stuff, but the Hebrew Israelites, black Americans, you are not supposed to serve those idols and those images. So I'm going to tell you again, okay? These religions are what's called idolatry. And basically idolatry, if you look at the definition of it, tells you what it is, to venerate something, okay? To venerate an image. Look right here. Is it what people do? They venerate males and females, right? And even here lately trying to venerate females again. Black female, not going to happen. Okay? Because Yah has to do what? He has to remove all idolatry. Okay? From the land. That's Deuteronomy chapter 12 whenever we come in there. Okay? We get rid of all that stuff. Okay? Black Americans, that's why you were slaves. Okay? And that's why you basically still in America today as a whole. Right? Because you will not stop with this idolatry that the Most High has told you all to cut it out. But you guys won't do it. Right? Every time we look up, you guys got something new going. Okay? A new idol. What does the Most High say? Okay? That he would do what? Okay? Yah will scatter you among the nations as he's done. Black people in every nation, right? And ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yah shall lead you. And there, the Most High predicts it. You're going to serve these idols. The work, see, key word. It is the work of men's hands, man. Wood and stone. Christianity, Islam, right? Which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. You hear that? These things don't do anything, man. It's the work of men's hands that you are worshiping. Okay? All right? That's where our people were destroyed, man. Because Yah is upset about that to this day, man. All right? To this day, what our forefathers did. He's still upset about that to this day, man. And this has been over 4,000 something years ago that these things happened. But he's still upset with our people. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 32. Listen very carefully. See, this is the problem with y'all. Y'all don't have patience. Y'all want everything right now, today. It doesn't work like that. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, right? You know, he's the high priest, and said unto him, up, make us gods. You know, see, key word, make, their own hands. Okay, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, they said, we wot not what is becoming him. Wot not means, you know, they did not know what become, because he hadn't come down, you know, he was up there the 40 days, right, with, you know, speaking with God, right? He had not come down out the mountain yet. Okay, so they said, oh man, just make us something to worship. So Aaron, which in my opinion should have been killed for this right here. You know, y'all didn't do it, but he should have been, right? And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in your ears of your wives and your sons and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. Okay? And that's when they started fashioning this stuff. You know what I mean? They fashioned it with a graving tool. Okay? Talking about, these be thy gods, O Israel. You see that? Which brought thee out of Egypt. Them guys didn't do nothing. Okay? Formed what's called a molten calf that y'all hear about, right? That calf didn't do nothing, man. Yah brought them out of Egypt and performed all those miracles, just as he's doing the same exact thing in these days today. But guess what? They already got this already set in place. Okay? Got the top elite set into place. Got it already set up for them. Okay? Oh, we gonna take the black woman and y'all gonna worship her. Okay? And we're gonna put a chip in all of you. And if you don't worship her, we're gonna hit that chip and it'll kill you. Or whatever they want to do with it. That's what your COVID-19 is all about. That you guys don't understand. These people are trying to battle God. That's what this is all about. COVID-19 is not what you're thinking. Whatever they put out there in that air, a lot of the people who are dying, they're dying of things they already had. Ailments they already had, trying to pad the numbers for those who have knowledge and don't lack knowledge about what's really going on behind the scenes. But that's what this thing is all about. Because see, they did. They fashioned them a graven image, a molten calf in the image of a black woman that we already known about and that we already spoken about. Okay? But Yah is going to deal a blow to that in whatever means and by whatever means necessary. There ain't no way that any kind of idol is going to stand. This same one right here got destroyed by Moses, right? And then Moses told the Levites to do what? Strap on your sword and go after these people. Kill them. Okay? Matter of fact, let's read that right here, verse 26, same chapter. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on Yah's side? Question mark. Ooh, that's strong. Listen to that. He said, who is on Yah's side? Let him come to me. And that's the same thing I'm saying to y'all today. Who is on Yah's side? Let them stand with brother Zechariah. Okay, let them come to me if you stand for God, the true God, and not this idol or any kind of idol. Okay? And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith God of Israel. See, God commanded this. Put every man his sword on his side and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp and slay, you hear that? And slay every man his brother, every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. Woo! Goodness. Let's continue on, 28. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, right? Which was the word of God, because God said do it, right? And there fell of the people, right, that day, 3,000 men and their companions and whatever else that was in the camp with them about this thing, this idol. Okay? Okay. I just want to get that part straight out the gate. The God of Israel is not no God to play no game with, man. So some of these celebrities, y'all confusing the masses with your message, man. Okay? It's okay. I know they pay y'all to do certain things, man, whatever the case is. But we have our own heritage, okay? That Yah has given us. I know another people are claiming it, but that's the book. Then the Most High said it'd be a controversy over Zion. Okay? Just go back to 1896. William Crowdy. Look it up. Google what I'm saying. William Crowdy, 1896. He was the first one to start telling our people, right? Okay? Before we were set free, 1865, that we were the children of Israel. Then, if you notice, a competition started. 1897, here comes Theodore Herzl coming out with the Zionist movement. Right? Basically trying to say they was Israel. See there? Okay? Who call themselves Esau, the Jews today. Right? That's where all this comes from. I'm giving you guys the history on this right now. Okay? All right? Now go to Jeremiah. Chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, talking about the children of Israel, you black Americans, okay? You don't call yourself Negroes, whatever you want to call yourself. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage. It means you're going to stop doing your heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies. You hear that? In the transatlantic slave trade, where you will become niggas and coons and spooks and porch monkeys and clankerheads, black Americans, Afro-Americans, anything they could think of to call you, because you discontinue from your heritage as Israel. Okay? And you're going to serve your enemies, right? In the land which thou knowest not. See, we didn't know at that time because there was no such thing as America during these times. Okay? For the Most High said what? For you have kindled a fire in mine anger. So he's still mad about it. And what did the Most High say? Which shall burn forever. You hear that? The Most High said it's going to burn forever. His anger about this thing that we did with this golden calves and breaking the contracts, okay? That's why when we're speaking to the Gentiles, you have to be on point with your message, man. It can't be all over the place. It can't be inconsistent. It can't be something different every other day. And they can't keep hearing different things from different people, because the message is all over the place, man. Like I said a minute ago, those who want to serve God, you come to my side. Just like Moses told, those hard-headed Israelites back then. And then we're gonna let Yah take care of all the ones who don't come to my side. Now, verse 19. O Yah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles, listen to this right here. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. You hear that? Lies. Lies. What's the definition of a lie? Something that's not true. This is what the Gentiles are going to say. Surely our fathers have inherited lies, man. Vanity and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are not God? Did you hear that right there? Okay? Shall they do that? Now, as we told you all, if you do any kind of biblical research, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? If you do your biblical research, we come out of Shem. We are not out of Ham. If you go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it states it in there perfectly for you to see. Just Google it, man. Told you, got the most powerful search engine on your hip all the time, the cell phone. There's no excuse these days to not know this information and keep putting out documentaries, books, or doing speeches about we Africans and we need to go back to Africa. Now, if you go ask an African that, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you, man, because they already know who we are. Because they were a part of rounding us up, sending us to those ships. When we ran from Yah, right, the Holy One of Israel, we ran out of Israel down into West Africa. Okay? And maybe a few other places too. Okay? All right. And that's why I keep telling the Palestinians the same thing. But they keep calling Yah Allah. It's a lie. We're going to stick with Islam. If you go read the book of Hosea, it tells you that. If you read the chapter, I believe, 49 of Isaiah, it tells you that. The drunkards of Ephraim. Okay, it calls them drunkards. Because that's what they're acting like. You know what I mean? That's their behavior. Or go read the book of Hosea. It tells you that. These things would happen. How they would reject their heritage. So I'm banging on the Palestinians too. They love Islam, man. Okay? That religion, Islam. They love that, man. The top, Mahmoud Abbas. Horrible, man. Mahmoud, you a Mason. I know you know the truth, man. You know who Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh is, man. In the Hebrew dialect, YHWH in English, you know it. But you love discontinuing from your heritage. Because it ain't that Yah hasn't wanted to judge the Edomites in the land as he said he's going to do. They keep paying them not to do it. Okay? And then sometimes they'll pay them to shoot a few rockets over there, and then they'll get into it for 3 days or 2 days and then call a truce. And the same goes for Hezbollah. But one of these days, it's going to all come true because it's in the book that way. Obadiah, the 1st chapter, verse number 18, where Yah specifically states the house of Joseph going to do battle against the Zionist regime. Okay? Because the Zionists are the ones who went over there and definitely did that thing in Iran. So it's a hot war. It just hasn't happened yet. Because, basically the Iranians, they help Hezbollah. Okay? So it could be Hezbollah from the north, Hamas from the south, or from the West Bank, and Gaza. That Jeremiah 49 talks about when they show Yah gonna make them run away from Jerusalem and run them back down into their original land called Edom for the Zionist regime. This is not a game, man. This is for real, man. For the controversy of Zion, Isaiah, right? Okay? But we discontinue from our heritage of being Hebrew Israelites. That's our national identity. Okay? And since we discontinue from it, as it said, Yah said we would do, and go into worshiping these idols and images, okay? Then that's where we are today. And everybody wants to go home, but Yah can't take you home with that idolatry in you, man. Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 38. You rebels and you transgressors got to go plead before Yah before he allows you to go back in the land. You're not taking them idols back in the land with you. Buddha, Krishna, Chemosh, Milcom, Jesus, Muhammad, or anything else. It ain't going back into the land of Israel. When this third movement comes back, Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 55, the final movement comes back. Okay? The government arm of Yah comes back. You don't come back with no idols and images and all that stuff, man. Okay? And we do not, once again, respect persons. Okay? That's why Yah used the Zionists to shut down Nick Cannon and made him apologize and gave him some some re-education about the Holocaust. Yeah, God did that to him. Because he wanted Nick Cannon to shut his mouth because Nick Cannon was trying to use his star, appeal to the younger kids to bring about that message. And it wasn't a bad thing that he was trying to do it. It's just not for him to do because he don't have enough information to be even speaking on it. Because see how much you got to know to even speak on it. Nick Cannon couldn't have did what I just did. He can't run through the book like that. Okay? All right? And the next thing is, as one of these OGs said on the video, man, you can't be in that star lifestyle and try to come out with the truth too. Okay, you taking a chance on your life when you do that, because you made all types of oath not to speak the truth to the people. Okay, so when these stars do that, man, they basically endangering themselves, man. Okay, when they do that, because see, they got to choose one side. They trying to work on both sides. Okay, they trying to work, for truth, and then try to work for the Zionists at the same time. The Zionists don't go for that. They don't go for that right there. Okay, they make you pick side. You either go like Moses did with the children of Israel. All those who were for Yah, you come to me. All the rest of y'all sit over there. And we gonna draw our sword against you. Coming from Yah. Okay? In whatever, means that might be for these days and times. Who knows? Could be the coronavirus. Okay? Alright? Now, verse 12 of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 1, we're going to be done with this about our heritage, okay? We're not Africans. The Africans come out of Ham. We come out of Shem. If you ask any good African who about some truth, they'll tell you. I've had many Africans tell me face to face. But you have to ask them. They're not going to tell you. Ask them, are we the same people? They'll probably smile and say, nah, we not. They know already. Because they know what their ancestors did in rounding us up to take us into transatlantic slave trade 400 years, 1619 to 2019. And now it's time for us to go home. That's what all this shutting down things is all about, okay? All right? They think they can figure out a way to keep it from happening. But it's not going to, it ain't nothing that's going to keep it from happening, okay? These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land of Israel, which Yah your God or your fathers giveth thee to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where in the nations, okay, you hear that? All the places, mosque and synagogues, churches, whatever. You shall utterly destroy that, okay? Where all the nations possess, right? And serve their gods upon all the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. You shall overthrow the altars. You shall break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. Okay, you shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy their names out of that place of Israel. That's what we do when we get to the land. And as you guys can see, there ain't nobody came back, did that. Sodom and her daughters didn't do it. Talking about the movement didn't do it. And the Palestinians haven't done it. Matter of fact, those two are still basically in some forms of idolatry, but I hope they're improving their ways before God. Okay? All right? But this is our heritage. Forever and ever, even ever, never. Okay? Get back to it. Hebrew Israelites, you black Americans. We are not Africans. Peace, and y'all bless.